Welcome to SBI's 2021 Virtual Benefit Gala, Reimagining Public Support for Public Schools. Tonight's virtual event will include appearances by SBI founder and executive director Charles Thompson, Kelly Downing, SBI deputy director, Shanté Skyers, director of finance at Harlem Stage, Dr. Stephanie Akunvabey, Vice President for Equity and Inclusion and Chief Diversity Officer at Roger Williams University. Chris Calienes, Director of Instructional Research at Hobart and William Smith Colleges. A.J. Foster, comedian. Sarai Kearse, traditional West African dance choreographer. Alrick Thomas, choreographer at AThomasProject. And our Spotlight Award recipient, Dr. Barry Goldenberg. The time to start reimagining public support for public schools is now. Enjoy the show. Welcome to SBI's 2021 Virtual Benefit Gala. I am your host, Maya Garcia. I served as Artistic Director of SBI's Performing Arts, and then I became a board member because I have seen and believe in the impact of SBI's 30-year legacy empowering young people in one of the most diverse communities in New York City, at A. Philip Randolph Campus High School in Harlem. Today, you and I have an opportunity to change lives.
The 2020-2021 year was a year full of challenges due to the fact that all learning was done remotely. Despite that, the College and Career Preparatory Institute moved forward. We operated the Student Advancement Center, which was a program that went into all English classes for 9th and 10th grade. The curriculum focused on life readiness, as is usually the case, but this year we modified the program to have it address the issues that students were facing due to the pandemic. Issues that often kept them from coming to school, discouraged them from coming to school because of personal things happening in their families. We worked to make sure that they knew that there was life after this pandemic. And we added the faces of alumni who had also gone through challenges, just as a way to inspire students. The Career Day, 450 students, 50 members of our alumni, and 35 volunteers from Ford Motor Company and Deloitte. They operated a career exploration seminar, a creative entrepreneurs workshop, and conducted a mock interview competition. The Renaissance Now Writing Intensive was excellent. It was a weekly workshop for sophomores, and it culminated in a webinar on Zoom that was attended by over 300 members of the Randolph community. Healing Arts, Return of an Urban Opera, a program that we're able to do thanks to sponsorship from Harlem Stage. It aimed to keep students connected to the arts program that we had done traditionally at Randolph. It now will serve as the tool for bringing students back after a 2-year absence of the program. This fall, thanks to Harlem Stage, we will have a video that we did over the last 3 months preparing students for returning to the program this fall. The Seniors College Admission Initiative was a program from our college prep academy that we were able to conduct despite the logistical challenges. It resulted in enrolling 25 students, 23 of whom are currently enrolled in 4-year residential colleges, including Hamilton, Gettysburg, Skidmore, Vassar, Geneseo, Hobart William Smith, and Stony Brook. We had a good year.
My name is Dr. Stephanie Akunvabey, Randolph alum, class of 2003, and Vice President for Equity, Inclusion, and Chief Diversity Officer at Roger Williams University. I have had a long and wonderful relationship with SBI as a student, as a board member, and even as a researcher. As a doctoral student, I decided to complete my research based on understanding SBI's model as an inclusive grassroots cooperative to better understand how the services that SBI provided enhanced New York City's public schools, specifically for Black and Latino students. The work that I completed revealed that students benefited from having a stronger sense of community, from engaging with members in their public school who understood the value that they brought to their classrooms and to the school environment. They benefited from engaging in the arts and from exposure to new educational opportunities, as well as to discussions about career and what their own professional journeys would look like in the near future. Understanding the experiences of those students was really an opportunity for me to do my heart's work, because as an educator, I firmly believe that access to higher education is incredibly important. It sets up individuals to achieve things that may have initially seemed out of reach. I continue to engage with SBI because I, again, believe that education matters and that individuals in public schools deserve the opportunities that their peers in other types of school settings naturally sort of just have. As a board member, doing this work has been great, and I encourage others to find ways to contribute to SBI and the wonderful work that occurs, whether it's volunteering to participate in some of the career efforts that occur to expose young people to new work opportunities, or joining a board, doing fundraising activities. All of it has been incredibly enriching. So as a former student and a current board member, I encourage folks to get involved in SBI and help make a difference for New York City's public school system.
This year's theme, Reimagining Public Support for Public Schools, is all about bold ideas and innovative solutions. It's about empowering communities to implement sustainable support for urban public schools.
SBI's IGC model stands for Inclusive, Grassroots, Cooperative. Inclusive meaning anyone touched by SBI. That means you, me, teaching artists, alumni, staff, anyone who's given us a space to even practice in. Lunchroom, that's history right there, like we practice there. Like anyone touched by SBI. Grassroots meaning from the ground up. So this is attending to our needs, giving a voice to what we need as a community. And that's where cooperative comes from. Cooperative comes from it taking a village. It takes a village, it takes a community. We're gonna stand up for what we believe in. And it might sound corny, but it's real to not just me or to Thompson or to anyone involved in SBI. It's also touching the hearts of other people outside of this. You don't even know it yet.
Hello, my name is Calienes. I am Director of Institutional Research at Hobart and William Smith Colleges in Geneva, New York. I'm also a proud member of the Board of Directors of SBI. Prior to coming to Hobart and William Smith Colleges, I was for many years at Kingsborough Community College of the City University of New York. What attracted me to SBI was that it's an organization that empowers students to understand and know that who they are and where they come from is actually an asset that can help them to be successful in whatever setting they find themselves in after high school. It's also an organization that I wish I had when I was in high school. My background is that I'm originally from Lima, Peru, and throughout high school and college, I was an undocumented student. And through quite a bit of determination, but certainly a great deal of luck, I managed to get through college and graduate school. And at some point in my career, it became very clear to me that my main goal needed to be to work towards a world where that much luck isn't needed by anybody to get through college and to meet one's goals. And I do believe SBI is such an organization that allows students to understand that who they are is an asset as opposed to an obstacle. So I want to thank you for paying attention to us and for understanding that the work that we do is important and for supporting us by attending this gala and by making sure that this work continues. So thank you.
The College and Career Preparatory Institute at A. Philip Randolph High School is SBI's educational enhancement program serving Randolph High since 1991. There are 5 programs which operate under its banner. SBI's College and Career Preparatory Institute is the organization's education enhancement initiative at A. Philip Randolph Campus High School. The Institute has been an integral part of Randolph's learning environment for 3 decades. 5 programs operate under the Preparatory Institute's banner. They are the Student Advancement Center, an in-class 2-year sequential cohort program with a college exploratory and life readiness focus. All Randolph 9th and 10th grade students participate in this program. Enrollment, 870 students. The College Preparatory Academy, an after-school initiative which focuses on preparing students for admission to selective colleges and universities. The first-year seminar, the Sophomore Academic Enrichment Program, the College Admission Spring Intensive, and the Seniors College Admission Initiative. They make up this 4-year sequential cohort program's offerings. Enrollment, 110 students. Mentoring Kings is an asynchronous critical mentoring and literacy initiative for males. Enrollment, 10 students. The Performing Arts Program, an after-school community building experience which prepares students attitudinally and socio-culturally for post-secondary educational and career path opportunities through intensive engagement in music, dance, and spoken word. Enrollment, 130 students. And finally, the Theater Tech Workshop, a workforce development initiative focused on providing publicly educated NYC students of color with access to membership in Local 1, the premier stagehand union of the International Alliance of Theatrical Stage Employees. Enrollment, 12 students.
In the spring of 1978, an agreement between City College and the New York City Board of Education was signed, creating the City College Campus High School. The school opened in the fall of 1979 as A. Philip Randolph Campus High School. During its first 2 decades, A. Philip Randolph Campus High became legendary for its learning community, which provided the academic rigor and nurturing environment that transformed the lives of students and their families. Randolph High's performance was outstanding on state exams, annual college enrollment, SAT and PSAT preparation rates and outcomes, advanced placement class, and exam registration. A. Philip Randolph Campus High School became a revered institution within New York City's communities of color. It was the gold standard in public education, and it was part of Harlem, a symbol of pride for people of color everywhere. Then came New York Department of Education's decision to break up and reorganize large high schools. As a result, Randolph opened in the fall of 2004 with changes at the positions of principal, assistant principal for pupil services, and assistant principal for operations. In addition, the school's freshman class enrollment went from 400 to 900 students. The school moved to a 3-shift operation, and with the anticipated drop in academic performance, it became a prime target for breakup and reorganization. The current principal of Randolph High is Mr. David Fanning. In a letter recently written to SBI Executive Director Charles Thompson, he shared the following thoughts. A. Philip Randolph Campus High School is one of only a few Manhattan high schools that has weathered the last 40 years. Brandeis, Murray Bertram, George Washington, DeWitt Clinton, Norman Thomas, Martin Luther King, and many other historic schools have closed over the last few years. These schools closed because they did not have a community of alumni to support them. These schools closed because they did not have a community of alumni to speak for the history and importance of these schools to their community. I am proud to say that A. Philip Randolph Campus High School is standing today as one school in one building for over 40 years because the greatest thing about Randolph is that its alumni has never forgotten how important Randolph is. Thank you, alumni of A. Philip Randolph Campus High School, for keeping our history alive, and thank you, Mr. Thompson and Sound Business Incorporated, for continuing to connect our alumni for over 30 years. The engagement of the SBI community, which we identify as an inclusive grassroots cooperative, IGC, prevented the school from being closed for reorganization or designated a co-location site. Through direct communication with the NYCDOE Chancellor and the Deputy Mayor for Education, the IGC was able to protect the A. Philip Randolph Campus High School. It succeeded in preserving Randolph High legacy for thousands of its alumni and maintaining it as a source of pride in our city's communities of color. On November 20th, 2019, SBI presented the A. Philip Randolph Campus High School 40th anniversary at Glen Island Harbor Club in New Rochelle, New York. SBI, reimagining public support for public schools.
Good evening, SBI alum and guest. I am comedian AJ Foster, Randolph alum class of 2005. I just want to give a huge shout out to the entire SBI program for going 30 years strong. I remember vividly entering the program as a teen, just trying to find my place in the world. And I can honestly say that the lifelong lessons that I learned while being a member of SBI have truly shaped who I've grown into as an adult. Not to mention the countless bonds that I formed while being a member of the United Brothers Step Team. Shout out to UB. Those brothers are still some of my best friends to this day, literally half a lifetime later. Graduated Randolph at the age of 17. Here we are almost 17 years later. And boy, time really does fly, right? Nothing really prepares you for growing older. I literally had to face one of my little cousins not too long ago. She asked me what year I was born. I started to say 19, and before I could even finish, she goes, "Oh my God." She said, "You were born in the 1900s?" As if it were some prehistoric time or something, right? And speaking of prehistoric, shout out to Mr. Thompson. I'm kidding. He looks great. Although he looked old to me back then when I was a teenager, he looks great now. I can recognize that. I've always thought of Mr. Thompson as Harlem's version of Morgan Freeman. Every time I see him, I just want to sing, "Lean on me." But in all seriousness, thank you, Mr. Thompson, for all that you've done for me, as well as the countless number of other students that you've helped shape over the last 30 years since Randolph first welcomed SBI. As great of a job as Mr. Thompson is doing, he needs all of our help. All right, you guys know the saying, it truly does take a village. So let's all come together and do our part to be the village that SBI needs and support this program as they continue to be a pillar in the community and shaping the lives of generations of students to come after us. Cheers to the next 30 years of success, Mr. Thompson and everyone at SBI. And can I get one chant for the road? You know the one I want. Randolph, Randolph. AJ out.
I'm Michael Gums, class of 1999, born in Queens, New York. After I left Randolph, I went to the Lincoln University, the first HBCU. Enjoyed my time there greatly. I'm working for the electric utility for New York State, which is the New York Power Authority. For them, I manage the warehouse and I also manage procurement. Basically, I handle all of the logistics for my site. The site that I work at is the transmission site. This is the location where we transmit or we change over 765 kilovolts from the falls, either directly north in Messina or from Niagara Falls, where we have hydropower generation. That 765 kilovolts is transformed to 345 kilovolts, which is usable in our metropolitan areas. What I do, I purchase majority, 90% of the equipment and services for the site, and my team, we store it and make it available for the trades when they need it. Work-wise, I'm comfortable speaking in public. I'm comfortable taking charge of meetings if I need to. And I can also support my leaders if they need that. And that's what I feel SBI has provided. And, you know, Mr. Thompson is someone that I've always admired. So in the back of my mind, it's kind of, you know, if Mr. Thompson happens to see my name, I don't want him to be like, "Oh, damn, that's Michael who was in my program." But at least he can smile and say, well, you know, he was with SBI, and that's someone that we're proud of. So that's something, you know, if it matters, if anyone who was in the class of 2008 or in the class of 2020 is looking into the background of who was in United Brothers or who was in SBI, and if they do some research and come across my name, I hope that I provide inspiration for them to get involved.
So, Kelly, I want to congratulate you on being selected to follow me as the executive director of Sound Business, Inc. And let me say to you, after 30 years of doing this work, after 30 years of having this be my calling, my heart and soul, this work being so important, after 30 years of trying to keep it meaningful, to stay on focus, to serve the community that we came to serve, after 30 years of doing that, And you saw that bird just fly through. A bird just flew through here. After 30 years of doing that, I couldn't feel better about the successor. The passion that you bring, the understanding that you bring, the willingness, the skill set, the discipline, the commitment that's needed to step into this spot and to try to pivot to the next era in this history, no one can do it better than you. I'm appreciative of the fact that we had you serving on the board of directors. I'm appreciative of the fact that through the last few years, you've been so upfront in helping with things and moving us forward. And frankly, I'm pleased that you have the courage to step in on this, because moving us from the kind of organization that we were before, very small, very strategic, to expanding the programs, expanding the view, and to getting this position to be something that can be replicated. When I'm talking about something that can be replicated, I'm speaking about the IGC model, to have that ready to share with communities in other cities over the next 5 years, 10 years. I'm just excited because you can make that happen. And I want to let you know that I will be in the wings doing whatever you need to support you. I will be there in these beginning years when you step on in June of 22. I'll be there, and I can assure you that the whole board is behind you. So when I look at the mission, which was always to create a grassroots movement to bring solutions to the issues that we have in public schools, and not looking to try to change a whole board of education or to deal with the issues that you have to deal with in a large system like the DOE, but to look at one school at a time, building a community around that school, taking a school like AFL of Randolph, organizing alumni, organizing community, bringing in partners across the city, and then making that school a great institution, preserving its legacy and using it to honor AFL of Randolph, to use it to honor all the men and women who taught in that building and sacrificed in that building, all of the students who went on to make us proud. Yeah. How does it feel for you to come into that spot and to take over? And again, congratulations.
Well, first and foremost, I'm going to say I'm humbled, and I just want to say thank you for the opportunity and believing in me. But you've always believed in me. From the very first time that I walked into Randolph as a new teacher, you were always somebody that I looked up to, and always someone who I give credit for the trajectory that my career, my profession has taken. I had 2 stints at Randolph, again, first as a new teacher, and again, leaving Randolph and then coming back. In both of those time periods, you were an integral part of that. And I never imagined, that early, interaction would lead us to this point where we are right now. But I'm excited. And again, I believe in what you've done. I believe in what you've created. I respect what you've done. And I know wholeheartedly that it's something that needs to be continued. So I'm going to fight. I am going to do the best that I can. I mean, clearly these are big shoes to fill, but I'm going to do the very best that I can to honor you, your legacy, to honor everything that you've done, and to just really lean on you in those, initial stages and all throughout, really, to just kind of make sure that, we continue to deliver upon the mission and the vision that you have initiated for over 30 years. So again, I just want to say thank you with all my heart for that.
You're most welcome.
Gravity is working against me. Gravity wants to bring me down. what makes this man with all the love that his heart can stand, and dream of ways to throw it all away.
Ooh, gravity, it's been working against me.
Twice as much
ain't ever twice as good.
Twice as good.
And can sustain like one half could. Oh, it's one and more. It's gonna send me to my knees. Oh, yeah. Gravity's working against me now.
Keep me where the light is. Just keep me where the light is. Oh no. Just keep me where the light is. Just keep me where the light is. Hey. Keep me where
From Tony Award-winning Broadway shows to Oscar award-winning films, I've been in the trenches, and I can tell you the work is not glamorous. It takes years of practice, sweat equity, and cooperation. On stage, on screen, or behind the scenes, being a part of a creative process cultivates confidence, communication, collaboration, precisely the training young people need to believe that they can do absolutely anything they put their minds to. Whether our SBI alumni become professional artists, engineers, entrepreneurs, chief financial officers, They always point back to this performing arts experience and the rigorous college and career preparation at SBI as the turning point in their lives. So you and I have this unique opportunity to empower the creative and academic potential of our young people at a time when they need us more than ever. Just imagine whatever you give tonight, the return on your investment.
Hello all, my name is Evan Johnson. I'm class of 2013 of Randolph. I've been at CCPI for about 15 years, all throughout as far as coming back and helping giving back to what was built up by Thompson over 30 years ago. I was the first internship class, and essentially what SBI did was essentially they brought in this sense of integrity as far as how we dealt with the internship, and everything was really coming from grassroots, right? So you had 8 of these senior, 17-year-old kids doing all this heavy administrative work and very important scholarship acquisitions and talking, cold calling colleges, right? And trying to get scholarships over and doing this types of thing to really benefit not only obviously the program, but even benefit ourselves. It taught us how to hustle. It taught us how to, be able to communicate with people of different stature and different fields of us, right? And ultimately different levels of experience, right? I mean, we're these 17-year-old kids, once again, talking to sometimes these academic bursars and things to try to get things moving for the program and ourselves. So there was a lot to learn there. There was a lot that we really did from the foundation up. And to see the intern class still in CCPI 7 to 8 years later, that's something that really makes me happy and something that really makes me proud, because I felt like we were the integral class to get that started. And SKY was a program that was built out to train up everybody in SAT learning and make sure they really had the skills, to tackle this huge test. And at the time, there were other things, right? You had Kaplan, Manhattan Prep, a lot of these programs. But, a lot of these programs weren't built for us. And by us, I don't even mean skin color or background. I mean, literally just SES status, right? I mean, literally the economics just weren't there. The money wasn't there to afford some of these $1,000 programs. SKY was the first program that really had teachers in Randolph, some teachers volunteering, which created this sense of community and collaboration, right? Seeing them involved in the program, but also getting people outside, people who wanted to come in, outside instructors who said, hey, I teach here, well, let me do this as well and volunteer my time to help these people learn the key skills to focus on the test and do what they need to do. So there was a lot of benefit. There was a lot of learning about, once again, grassroots coming in, about understanding people who look like me, who understand this knowledge, who got to a certain point in life. It was great to see them coming back to teach. And to be honest, it did a number on me as far as my wanting to come back.
My name is Jeremy Jaco. I graduated from Randolph in 2013. From there, I went on to go to Elmira College, graduated from there in 2017. And currently I am a CX manager at Ergata. When it comes to SBI and the IGC model, I'd love to talk about the day-to-day culture. There was a weird level of respect that everyone had for Mr. Thompson and everyone in the organization. Whether you were in a dance team or part of any of the after-school programs, everyone knew what you were doing and the mission at hand, and it was always all hands on deck. When it came to career day, even having Ford Motor come in or Deloitte, milking scholars, these people taught us things that I still use till this day when it comes to interviews or even connecting with people, following up and expanding the network. It's honestly amazing. It's priceless. And I remember winning first place a couple of times at career day. So, but no, it was an amazing experience. And even the college trips, we were actually, me and a few of my friends were one of the first official, interns for CCPI during our senior year. And it was amazing. We got to experience planning these college trips out and focusing on budgets and getting everyone to see that there's more to colleges than just New York, or there's more to education than just finishing high school. Even me before the program, I didn't think too much about it. I thought maybe I'll go to school in the city, or maybe I won't even go to college at all. But this really expanded my thinking, and it kind of changed my life forever. I met lifelong friends in almost every single state, and everywhere I go, I just remember different experiences that I've had, and it all leads back to SBI.
Hi, my name is Alyssa Velez. I'm entering my senior year. I'm an SBI in Urban and Modern. Welcome to SBI's Virtual Gala, Reimagining Public Support for Public Schools. In my opinion, this program has been amazing, and it has given me the opportunity to dance for free and still be able to focus on school. Because a lot of people love to go for their career but then forget what's important, which is graduating and coming up with this life for yourself. And I'm just so grateful that after all this had happened with the pandemic, I'm able to dance and keep learning and growing as a dancer. Thank you.
One of the things I'm excited about, well, a couple of things I'm excited about, is bringing you on. I'm excited about what we're doing with the Randolph AFC Connect, with a new digital platform of organizing and mobilizing alumni. I'm excited about that. I'm excited about ideas you have about how to use that alumni base, which is now probably closer to 13,000 students. I'm also excited by your excitement about bringing back the plan that we started in 2006, where our IGC community wasn't large enough and strong enough to push it through. But the idea of making Randolph High School the hub for public school education, the hub for urban education in New York City, being the hub for all the other schools around us, being a laboratory for studying and looking at best practices. I'm excited about the possibility of taking that feasibility study that was done in 2006, all the architectural plans for redoing the interior of that building and expanding its use. I'm so thrilled that you are excited about that, and I believe that you can build momentum behind that idea. What are your thoughts with taking that kind of thing forward?
When I saw the feasibility study, I instantly knew that that was something that was going to be a pivotal part of this next chapter of SBI. The work and the grassroots work in terms of organizing and stepping in to prevent the closing of A. Philip Randolph and galvanizing people and really getting those that cared involved enough to create this study with very, very detailed plans. I'm excited to include it in this year's gala because I think when everyone sees it, they're going to really hopefully feel the same excitement in terms of what this means in terms of innovation. But for Randolph to be that hub, to be a research institute, so to speak, to not only change or to shape teaching practices or best practices in teaching, but also to look at trends in student education, particularly in the urban setting, and seeing how we can actually understand what students are going to need in terms of just personal, educational, social, emotional, for that to occur, for them to have that well-being. I think it's crucial, just given the location of Randolph being in such close proximity to the CUNY campus, and really understanding from a historic standpoint that the ground upon which Randolph sits was always designed for progressive ideas, from it being an initial teaching institution, a teacher training college, to music and art, the first of its kind, then fast forward again to A. Philip Randolph, and then SBI coming on after A. Philip Randolph was created. So this is nothing new. I see this as just a continuation of the legacy that was already implemented before we even came on the scene. So this is just, again, very groundbreaking, exciting. I don't think there's anything like this happening in Harlem. Or in the city, and I dare say, maybe even in a broader context, but I know it's something that our students need, it's something that the community needs, and I'm excited to see this come to fruition. In 2005, SBI proposed a new vision for Randolph High that would transform it into an urban experimental laboratory school. As such, it would serve as the education hub for Northern Manhattan secondary schools and become a resource center for urban educators across the country. Our proposal was presented to the New York City Department of Education Chancellor, and a feasibility study by the School Construction Authority was authorized and launched. The 6-month study took place in 2006. The proposal called for the total interior redesign of Randolph's 1925 landmark building. All instructional spaces would be upgraded both architecturally and technologically, with flexible furniture layout, natural light, and the latest presentation technology. The plans included a 6th-floor conference training center to accommodate teacher training workshops and educational presentations by guest lecturers. The student cafeteria would be renovated and connected to an outside landscaped plaza. The auditorium was to be upgraded into a contemporary performance space suitable for full-scale music and theatrical performances. Furthermore, a new gymnasium expo center was to be constructed in the courtyard area to serve the athletic program needs of Randolph and neighboring high schools. It would also serve as the site for joint educational events organized by the Northern Manhattan Hub. This proposed laboratory school was developed by the inclusive Grassroots Cooperative. Although the School Construction Authority removed our proposal from consideration in 2007, the project remains the vision for this organized community. When we succeed in implementing a public education project of this scope, it will inspire and empower others. SBI plans to submit a new version of the proposal in 2025. SBI, Reimagining Public Support for Public Schools.
My name is Melanie Castro. I'm class of 2017. I just graduated class of 2021 at the University of the Arts. Currently, I have branched into modeling, acting, and still dancing. I've danced alongside love and hip hop star Brittany Taylor, and I'm currently assisting Pony Zion for Shanté's up and coming tour in the fall. So with the odds set against me, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do what I'm set out to do as my passion rather than what the system wants me to do in the way that they have set it up. Going to UArts, everyone really looked at me like, I was crazy. You have this girl that didn't have any source of training, didn't have any source of family income. It was really hard for me, which made me work 10 times harder. And I took everything that I learned from SBI and the IGC model to bring it into a new environment of a private school and let alone an art school. It gave me a voice that I didn't know I had. Being so shy and then going into a whole private school all the way in Philadelphia was so new to me. In SBI, I was able to network with the choreographers that they brought in. So that led us to, institutions and, we call them intensives for dancers, and really branched our way out of not just in school and in Randolph, but all the way to Soho, all the way to Philly. It was an amazing experience to get to see other people and be around other people that can give you more than what you thought you needed and something that you didn't even think was possible,
To ignite a passion for self-discovery and lifelong learning is at the very core of what we do. SBI Performing Arts inspire, engage, and activate students to dream bigger, to reach further for their dreams. Exposure to the arts is not enough. We must protect the sacred spaces where students can come together and create in community. The gorgeous Gothic auditorium at A. Randolph Campus High School and the programs that light it up every year deserve your continued investment. Please make a generous donation to SBI today.
Hi, I'm Shanté Skyers, Development Manager at Harlem Stage. Harlem Stage is a performing arts organization that presents, commissions, and produces work by artists of color. Also, we're right across the street if you ever want to stop by. But one of the great things that I'm here to tell you about is our partnership with SBI. So at Harlem Stage, we have the Arts Education Program. And we've been partners with SBI for over 10 years. And together we've brought arts education programming to students at A. Randolph. We truly believe that SBI knows what the students need because they are so committed to the students and to really helping them understand that they already have the tools to improve the community and themselves. When the pandemic hit in March of 2020, we fully supported SBI as they made the choice to move to virtual programming. And again, in March of 2021, we completely supported the program as they continued virtually, and we also together brought a new workshop called Renaissance Now, which was a 12-session workshop that used the spirit of the Harlem Renaissance and had the 9th grade students connect the Harlem Renaissance to their lives today. The young people presented beautiful poems on YouTube in a wonderful presentation. As such longtime partners of SBI, we look forward to the programming that they bring this fall and also in the spring. Together, Harlem Stage and SBI are reimagining public support for public schools.
Dr. Goldenberg is a postdoctoral research fellow at the Institute for Urban and Minority Education at Teachers College, Columbia University, and adjunct history professor at El Camino College. He earned a PhD from Columbia University in History and Education, where his dissertation scholarship examined the history of Harlem Prep, an alternative high school that educated non-traditional students. There is a story about a school and its relationship with the community that is similar in tenor and scope to SBI's Grassroots mission, but has rarely been told. The story of Harlem Preparatory School, an independent community school that existed in Central Harlem from 1967 to 1974. Harlem Prep, as it was popularly known, was made up of former high school dropouts, or more accurately, force-outs, as the school's headmaster Edward Carpenter preferred, recovering drug addicts, Vietnam War veterans, and older non-traditional students, including those with children. Holding classes in an old supermarket that used blackboards as classroom dividers and supported primarily by philanthropy and business, the school's constant financial struggles and diverse population did not hinder it from sending hundreds of non-traditional students to highly selective colleges. In fact, Harlem Prep was the only high school in Central Harlem at the time, and it became a successful community effort in educating the increasing population of youth pushed out on the New York City streets, as well as college-aged students, young adults desiring a second chance at school. Harlem Prep was unique not only because of its Harlem location and its unorthodox pedagogical elements, but because of the school's non-conforming ideology, and most relevantly here, the way school leaders conceptualized community. Headmasters Edward and Ann Carpenter sought unity and valued diversity inside school walls in terms of political ideology, religion, race, and class of teachers and students, and cultivated that same ethos outside school walls in terms of who could support the school financially and who served as advocates. Dr. Goldenberg continues this work through the Harlem Prep Project, which seeks to uncover the history of this remarkable institution with the help of alumni and other supporters. He is currently in the process of revising a book manuscript based on this work, under advanced contract with Rutgers University Press, entitled Strength Through Diversity, Harlem Prep and the Rise of Multiculturalism. It is his hope that Harlem Prep's story can inspire educators and school advocates to rekindle this same belief in student potential and each other, to utilize similar strategic tactics in alliance building to collectively reimagine schools and their relationship with communities in New York City today. Dr. Barry Goldenberg, SBI's 2021 Harlem Spotlight Award recipient.
Hello. Thank you so much for this great invitation to join tonight's virtual gala. It truly is an incredible honor to receive SBI's 2021 Harlem Spotlight Award. I'm very, very humbled by it, and please accept my absolute heartfelt gratitude to everyone at SBI for recognizing my work, and more than anything, honoring the legacy of a school called Harlem Prep. For the past decade or so, I've been working hard to share the story of this cherished community institution and how a group of dedicated teachers and community members and administrators work to show the world the brilliance of Harlem's young people. It has been a really just a deep privilege of mine to engage in this work, and I also want to recognize all the alumni who helped me document this story, really their story, so we can all learn from their inspiration today. It is such an honor again to receive this really beautiful award from SBI because I see so many synergies with Harlem Prep. Like Harlem Prep, SBI believes in the brilliance of Harlem's youth and believes in inclusively partnering with grassroots community organizations who similarly seek to uplift the community through its young people. You know, SBI has a 30-year track record of providing access to public school youth of color and sending them to top colleges and universities nationwide so that these smart young people can break the cycle of poverty, return to their community, and most of all, make lasting change. Not coincidentally, these were also the goals of Harlem Prep. The old adage, it takes a village, really is true here. And SBI, like Harlem Prep, is that village. A half century ago, Harlem Prep reimagined what public support could look like for public education. And for the past 30 years, and still today, SBI is carrying on that great legacy. To be honored by an organization like SBI, which matches the goals of an institution whose story I have worked so hard and for so many years to share, again, this is truly such a profound honor to me. Again, thank you so much for honoring my work and bestowing this great honor on Harlem Prep and to all those at the school who worked so hard to make so many dreams possible. Thank you so much for this great honor.
Randolph alumni to their alma mater, its current students, and most importantly, to each other, has always been a key factor in the IGC's impact as the principal advocate for the Randolph legacy. Therefore, as we embark on our fourth decade of work for and by the public, we are pleased to announce the November launch of Randolph AFC Connect, an exclusive online networking platform for Randolph alumni. With Randolph AFC Connect, we will be able to offer alumni opportunities to assess and advise on matters affecting the preservation of Randolph and its legacy by empowering youth from historically underserved communities. With Randolph AFC Connect, we will be able to recruit alumni volunteers willing to advocate and lobby for our interests before the New York City Department of Education, City Council members, and Randolph administration. With Randolph AFC Connect, we will be able to identify alumni able to organize and lead their graduating class affinity group. Alumni will be able to reconnect with teachers and classmates. The platform will provide opportunities to join basketball, track, baseball, or volleyball affinity groups. This inclusive Grassroots Cooperative is a community designed to include current and former members of the Randolph High faculty and staff, Randolph students, parents, alumni parents, non-government organizations, arts organizations, corporations, elected officials, New York City Department of Education representatives, and most importantly, Randolph alumni. The increased alumni engagement generated by the Randolph AFC Connect networking platform will enhance the ability of our IGC to demonstrate new ways in which the general public can support public schools. SBI, Reimagining Public Support for Public Schools.
Hi, my name is Jumirna Alcober, and I am a part of the class of 2014. After Randolph, I went to Buffalo State College, where I got my Bachelor's of Science in Health and Wellness with a minor in coaching. Then I pursued my Master's at Medaille College, where I earned a Master's of Arts in Organizational Leadership. Currently, I am the Program Manager to the Student Advancement Center here at Sound Business Inc. at A. Philip Randolph Campus High School. It was very important for me to come back to A. Philip Randolph and just give back to a school that basically helped me turn into the person I am today. Joining the SBI team was the best thing for me to do in efforts to find that outlet to give back to young people. One of the things that really inspired me to come to Randolph was initiatives of SBI. So I remember when I was in the 8th grade, I came to a Accepted Students event in which I I guess main showcase was going on, but a big performance was going on, and I was so excited to see all these arts in person, specifically the representation of Afro-Latinidad, in which we used, well, the performance used many drums and instruments that brought me back to my parents' heritage. And I remember being happy, enthusiastic to be in that space. Although my sister was a student at Randolph at the time as well, seeing that performance just built that momentum and increased my interest to attend Randolph.
On behalf of the entire executive board, SBI board, for all of the individuals that you touched, be it students, teachers, faculty, community business organizations, you name it, anyone that was touched by SBI, I think would want to be here today to celebrate the work that you've done. And so we want to present you with this award. And I'll just read what it says. It says, to Charles R. Thompson, founder, executive director, and maverick of Sound Business, Inc. from 1991 to 2021, in recognition of over 30 years of educating, organizing, and mobilizing, with our utmost respect and gratitude. So it is with our honor that we present you with this award.
This is really,
we wish we could do more.
A surprise.
Absolutely. But I just want to say it is something that
thank you
is on our hearts, and it's long overdue. It's something that you should have definitely been given a while ago. So.
It just was my calling to be able to touch young people, to work with people, to be able to support teachers, to be able to introduce young people to things that they didn't know existed, to be able to help parents and encourage them to help, just to be there to try to make a difference. And the big thing for me is being able to lead, knowing that the torch is being carried on. Being able to leave knowing that there's still a real chance that a organization will be formed with thousands of members that can be an example for people around the country. Grassroots organizing to make change for yourself. No one's going to fix it like we can fix it if we do it ourselves.
Absolutely.
I'm so honored to receive this.
Absolutely.
I'm so pleased for these 30 years. I thank my wife and my family for the sacrifices they made that made it possible for me to do this.
Absolutely.
I thank my close personal friends who had my back all during those years and were there to donate when we didn't know who was going to donate. I thank those Randolph High School faculty and administrators and parents and staff that supported me and supported the work of SBI in so many ways over the years. Thank you for this honor. Thank you.
To SBI today. We hope that you enjoyed SBI's 2021 Virtual Benefit Gala, Reimagining Public Support for Public Schools. SBI is a dynamic organization unlike any other. And as Charles Thompson would say, in order for SBI to continue educating, organizing, and mobilizing, we need your support. We thank you. We could not make the impact that we make without you. Stay safe and be blessed.